Millions of Americans are out of work and job openings are at a record high, but lawmakers and business owners are dealing with a tricky problem, figuring out how to get people back into the workforce. Now a group of House Democrats are looking to address the issue with new legislation. Earlier today, I had the chance to speak to one of the lawmakers who introduced this proposal, Representative Levin. Here's what he had to say. Representative, it is a privilege to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time today. Can you tell us more about this legislation and how it will help to address the labor shortage we're seeing in our country?
Today, something like just over 40% of everybody who's still unemployed in this pandemic recession is long-term unemployed. They've been unemployed half a year or more, and 2.4 million people have been unemployed a year. Well, let me tell you, as someone who used to run a state workforce system, people who've been out of the workforce a long time have the hardest time getting back in the game. And if we want to make sure we have maximum productivity, that we have the biggest GDP, that we're most efficient and cranking on all cylinders, we need these people's great contributions. And so what the Long-Term Unemployment Elimination Act does is it works with the state and the local workforce boards to get these people directly into subsidized employment with employers in their community that leads to long-term unemployment there. Jobs that employers really need to be done. And employers are calling out for workers who are really qualified. That's what this program is designed to fix. When you think about it, it's perfect. The workers who need the help most with the employers who have the most jobs to fill.
So to that point, sir, your proposal would provide funding for local workforce development groups to provide job training. So what kind of job training would you like to see provided here?
Again, as someone who ran a state workforce system, the kind of job training that's necessary depends on the kind of jobs you have in that area. So for example, when I ran Michigan's workforce system from 2007 to 2011, I created something called No Worker Left Behind. We put 162,000 Michigan workers back to school, community colleges, universities, private schools, as long as they studied for certificates or degrees that led to in-demand jobs. I can tell you we put about 35% of them into training related to healthcare, about 11 or 12% into IT, a similar amount into advanced manufacturing. It really depends on the local area. You've got to train people for actual jobs that employers need done in where they live.
That's a really good point. We know some lawmakers have suggested hiring bonuses for workers who do find jobs. Do you support that idea, Congressman?
I think what we need to do, I'm not against it, but what we need to do is keep these, the enhanced unemployment benefits in place until September. We already have a plan for them to phase out. The data show that the enhanced unemployment benefits are not causing people to stay home. For example, the San Francisco Fed did a study and they found that only 1 out of 4 unemployed workers had been able to find any job, and only 1 out of 7 of those who found anything turned it down. So you've got a multitude of issues going on here. People who haven't been able to be vaccinated, people who can't get child care, people whose workplace just closed and isn't reopening, and people who need to study for new skills. So we've got to deal with the issue in its complexity, support American workers and employers to get them together, get the workers the skills they need, and get the employers the workforce they need.
You teed me up for my next question. A total of 25 GOP-led states have announced plans to halt those federal jobless benefits by July. Many of those plans are going into effect this week, Congressman, as you well know. How do you feel about this decision to stop paying these benefits to so many Americans across the country?
Henna, I talk to small business owners in my district who worry, that people are not coming back because of the extra benefits. The problem, and I support my small businesses, the problem is we've got to make policy for this nation, and the data just don't support the idea that the long-term, the enhanced benefits has harmed things. In fact, the evidence is that the enhanced unemployments, the checks we've sent out, have kept the economy afloat. So ironically, a business is getting customers, is getting revenue because people have money to spend. And if we weren't helping these people make it across this horrible, period of turbulence in our economy, they wouldn't have any money to spend. And as you know, the number one driver of the American economy is consumer spending. So I think we ought to keep it in place, let it phase out as planned in September. I think those states are making a mistake.
Our thanks again to Representative Andy Levin for his time today.